This is Star Wars Path of Destruction. This takes place 1,000 years before the original trilogy. And it is about a poor miner named Des who eventually joins the Sith military and becomes a Sith Lord. And eventually, after 1,000 years, through his lineage of teaching is what leads to the Emperor taking over the galaxy in the original movies. I've read this book about like 4 or 5 times actually, so it's one of my favorites, and I think that's because he goes from being a poor miner on a desolate remote planet with no future at all to being one of the most powerful beings in the universe. And I think if anyone's like feels that they're weak in their life or something, that it can speak to that type of person. So yeah, it's really a lot to say about it. It's one of my favorite books.
How does it, could I just ask you, like, because I've seen the Star Wars, does it like have that same feel? Are there lightsabers or anything?
Yeah, there is. Actually, Des, he joins the Sith military, which at the time period in this movie, the Sith are actually just as prevalent as the Jedi. And they have their own military, kind of like the Jedi have the Republic troops. And he joins the Sith troops in order to get away out of some trouble on his home planet. And then eventually he displays a lot of like really extraordinary abilities on the battlefield, which gets him noticed by the Sith Lords. And he eventually becomes one of them, and then eventually wipes out them all so that he's the only one left. And at the end of the book, he takes on a little girl as an apprentice, and
cool.
And eventually he says that she is destined one day to kill him and become the new Dark Lord of the Sith.
Oh.
And that tradition gets passed down after generations, leading to the Emperor and Darth Vader.
Cool. And is there any romance?
There is a little bit of romance. I don't know if you would call it that though, because Bane, which he calls himself Bane because he had an abusive father that called him the bane of his life.
That's horrible.
So he decided to take on that name to kind of own it, I guess. But anyway, Bane meets a woman in the Sith Academy named Githany, and at the time when they meet, Bane's kind of like at a low point. He feels like he's lost his power. And Githany promises to teach him because she's so much of a prodigy, but her intentions are just to manipulate him and like destroy anyone who's a threat in the academy. And she tries to manipulate him with like seducing him and stuff. But on the other side, Bane actually just lets her think that he's being manipulated when he's completely aware of what's going on the whole time. But despite that, there is some sort of connection between the two.
Okay. Any other thing you want to say?
Not really. I just always return to this book at like maybe every year, read it again.
Oh, that's so cool.